Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, and first I want to wish all of you moms, grandmothers, and mothers to be happy Mother's Day for you tomorrow. Most of us are going to have a nice weather day, with the exception of those of you down into the southeast and far west. Let me just show you a little bit here on temperature-wise. Temperatures right here in the Midwest is absolutely going to be gorgeous for Mother's Day. You see temperatures above normal. Normal high temperatures now for the Ohio Valley. We're looking at high temperatures in the low to mid 70s for the afternoon highs and low to mid 50s for the evening lows. So based on this projection, I think it's going to happen. We're going to see temperatures certainly in the 70s, possibly even into the 80s right here in the Ohio Valley, stretching into the mid-Atlantic states. It's going to be a little bit cooler down towards the south and southeast and up towards the north. That's where we're going to have some precipitation. Very warm though there in the central U.S., but much chillier out west. Now that's for Mother's Day. Here we go for Monday, for next week. Notice this little area right here of yellow. There's a storm system, and it's going to produce a lot of rain for us right here in the Midwest and the Southeast, not just for Monday, but looks like also for a good portion of the first half of the upcoming week. But very warm temperatures there in the central U.S., and you kind of see what's going on. You've got a low pressure system here, got a low pressure system off towards the west. You see it there at L in the Rockies. In the middle, you have high pressure, so you have flow coming down in the west, up in the central U.S. That's why it's going to be warmer. Warm air comes up from the south and then drops down a little bit here in the east. But what's fortunate for us here in the east, got all this warm air, so a lot of that warm air is also going to filter down. So it's going to be much chillier out west, but not going to be all that bad right here in the eastern half of the U.S. Now that's on your Monday. On Tuesday, you still see some yellow around. That reflects because of the clouds and rain that's going to be around. Still very warm in the central U.S. and very chilly out west. For Wednesday, you see that large area of warm air starting to work its way more towards the east as this L kind of pushes out and weakens as we head on into the middle part of next week. But still very chilly off towards the west. By Thursday, very warm. In fact, I think Thursday right here in the Midwest is going to be our nicest day. It should be the driest day, also the warmest day. We could be flirting with possibly 90 degrees next Thursday, something to keep an eye on. But still, look how chilly it is off towards the west. By Friday, it's still fairly warm. Gets a little bit chillier up to the north. That's going to be the next system pushing its way down. It's going to probably cool us off for next weekend right here in the Midwest. But look how warm it is along the south and southeast and certainly Texas, but still fairly warm off towards the west. Now, as far as precipitation is concerned, here we go for Mother's Day. Remember those yellow colors that we saw down in the southeast? That reflects in the storm system that's down in this area. We could be looking at some severe weather for Mother's Day down in southern Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and even in portions of Florida. But the rest of us are going to be pretty dry for Mother's Day. That's going to change though. But notice what's happening off towards the west. We have a lot of precipitation in the Rockies, and it's also producing snow because it's so cold out there. Now look what happens here on Monday. That system starts pushing its way into the Midwest. It's going to be a relatively soggy day. I don't think it's going to rain all day, and I don't really expect any real severe weather for us right here in the Midwest. I think the energy is going to be more towards the Mid-Atlantic region and down into the Sunshine State of Florida. Again, that warm air, sunny skies in the central U.S., and then very unsettled off towards the west. By Tuesday, those clouds and rain still sticks around. Again, I don't expect any real severe weather at this point. Got to keep our eye out, but I don't think that the dynamics really aren't quite there for severe weather right here in the Midwest. But it is going to be cloudy and somewhat rainy across the area. Again, dry in the central and wet off towards the west. Wednesday, we're starting to see it pull off a little bit. We dry out a little bit there on Wednesday. Still, though, we're going to see some clouds and light rain right here in the Midwest. Also the Mid-Atlantic region, and you see that energy off towards the west starting to push its way more towards the east. By Thursday, as I said, I think it's going to be pretty much the nicest day. A couple of clouds around. I don't really expect much in the way of precipitation, even though this model is showing a couple of showers around. I think it's probably going to be dry right here in the Ohio Valley. But here's that next shot of cold air coming down from the north. It's going to cool those of you off in the high plains where you're going to see temperatures in 80s and possibly 90s over the next couple of days there for you, drying out across the southeast. And then by Friday, that front pushes its way through, maybe a little bit cooler, not a lot. Again, it's going to be reasonably nice. I think we'll see temperatures closer to normal, slightly above normal, but not quite as warm, I think, as we'll see on Thursday. Again, Thursday, I think it's going to be the nicest day when it comes to very warm temperatures and dry conditions, but a lot of rain pushing its way up and towards the northeast. Still pretty dry there along the southeast. So to sum it up, Mother's Day is going to look great for us here in the Midwest, but then keep your rain gear handy for the first half of the upcoming week, but at least it's going to be somewhat on the mild side. Again, happy Mother's Day to those of you moms, grandmothers, and mothers-to-be. I'm George, the Weather Dad.